My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. It was a voice memo from my sister, Emily. I pressed play, half asleep. But within seconds, my heart dropped. Her voice was shaking, not with sadness, but anger. "Mom, I don't care what Courtney thinks she deserves. That money was meant for us. She's not family anymore." I froze. My own sister. Talking about me. Talking about the inheritance Dad left behind. The one thing I never even asked for. The one thing they stole from me. Before I continue, if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, share this story. You're about to see how fast silence can turn into power. Emily kept talking in the memo. She's too naive to know what's really going on. "Don't worry, Mom. Once we move the papers, she'll never find out." My fingers trembled as I replayed it, again and again, just to be sure. The sister who helped me pack my things after Dad's funeral had been lying straight to my face. The next morning, I acted normal. I smiled at her texts, even joked back. I wanted her to think nothing had changed, because that's what she always underestimated about me. My silence wasn't weakness. It was strategy. A week later, Mom invited me to a family dinner. She said it was important. I knew exactly what that meant. They were planning something. Maybe to corner me. Maybe to finish whatever scheme they'd started. But I went. I walked into that restaurant wearing the same dress they mocked me for years ago, the one Emily called cheap and pitiful. As soon as I sat down, Mom gave me that fake, warm smile. "Courtney, sweetheart, you've been so distant lately. Everything okay?" I nodded. "Just busy. Building my business." Emily laughed under her breath. "Business? Oh, right. Your little online thing." I smiled, but inside I was already 2 steps ahead. They had no idea that little online thing had become a multi-million-dollar company. And they were sitting across from the person who'd soon own everything they thought was theirs. Mom leaned in. "Your father's lawyer is joining us tonight," she said softly. "There are still some papers left to finalize." I took a slow sip of water. "Papers?" Emily's smirk widened. "Just small things. You don't need to worry about it." But I knew. That voice memo, those words, this dinner. Everything was connected. And the moment I saw the lawyer walk in holding a brown folder, I realized something shocking. They weren't just trying to take the inheritance. They were trying to erase me from it. Completely. I sat there, pretending to scroll through my phone, while every nerve in my body burned. Emily leaned closer to Mom, whispering, thinking I couldn't hear. "She'll sign it. She's too soft to question anything." Soft. That word hit me harder than I expected. That's what they always called me. Soft, weak, naive. But tonight, that label was about to explode right back in their faces. Before we continue, if you've ever been underestimated and turned it into your strength, make sure to share this story. What's coming next will make your jaw drop. The lawyer, Mr. Hayes, sat down across from me, clearing his throat. "Courtney, I just need your signature here," he said, sliding the folder toward me. "I didn't touch it." "What's it for?" I asked calmly. Emily quickly jumped in. "Just a routine update from Dad's old documents. You don't need to read it, trust me. Trust her. The same woman who sent a memo plotting against me." I slowly opened the folder. The first page looked normal. Property documents, account details, until I turned to the second page. My name then was missing. My father's shares, his properties, his savings, everything had been reassigned. To Mom and Emily. My section was replaced with a single line. Beneficiary declined entitlement. I looked up, my hands still. "I declined it?" Mom's eyes flickered nervously. "Honey, we talked about this. You said you didn't want to deal with all this paperwork, remember?" I smiled slowly. "No, I don't remember that," Emily sighed loudly. "Courtney, stop making it dramatic. You're not built for this kind of responsibility. You've never been." The air went cold. That was it. The same tone she used when she mocked me years ago for not being smart enough, not being bold enough, for walking out on the family business after Dad's death. They thought I'd disappear forever, but I didn't disappear. I rebuilt. I pushed the folder back toward the lawyer. "Actually, I'll have my lawyer review this before I sign." Emily's smirk fell instantly. "Your lawyer?" I nodded. "Yes, I had to hire one for my company." Mom frowned. "Company? What company?" I leaned back in my chair, calm but sharp. You'll see soon. I'll bring her to the next meeting. That was the first time I saw fear flicker in Emily's eyes, because what they didn't know was that I already owned the very investment firm Dad's lawyer worked for, and this dinner wasn't their trap. It was mine. Emily's fork froze halfway to her mouth. Mom's smile turned tight, fake, the kind she used whenever she felt cornered. "What do you mean, your company?" Emily asked, voice trembling slightly. I shrugged, pretending to look casual. "Just something I built after I moved out. You know, during those years you all thought I was wasting my life." Mom's eyes narrowed. "Courtney, this isn't the time for games." "Oh, I agree," I said, locking eyes with her. "That's why I think we should clear up a few lies before anyone signs anything. Before we continue, if you've ever been betrayed by the people closest to you, hit subscribe and share this story. Because what happens next, no one saw coming." I turned toward Mr. Hayes, the lawyer. "Mr. Hayes, do you still work with Linton Holdings?" He blinked in confusion. Yes. They recently bought a controlling stake in our firm." Emily rolled her eyes. "Can we focus, please? Courtney, you have no idea what you're talking about." "Oh, I do," I interrupted, leaning forward. "Linton Holdings is my company." The room went dead silent. Emily's face went pale. That's impossible." Mom let out a shaky laugh. "Courtney, please. Stop with this nonsense. You couldn't even manage a savings account before." I smiled faintly. "You're right. Back then I couldn't. But when Dad passed away and you both pushed me out of his business, I started something new. I learned, I failed. I worked until I didn't have to explain myself anymore." Emily slammed her hand on the table. "You're lying! You can't just walk back in here and pretend to be someone you're not." "Pretend?" I said quietly. "Check your phone." She frowned but picked it up anyway. The push notification was already there, a breaking news alert. Linton Holdings acquires Hayes Legal Associates in full buyout, led by founder and CEO Courtney Brooks. Her jaw literally dropped. No, this can't be real. Mom reached for her phone too, and when she saw it, her hand started shaking. I sat back, finally letting out a breath I'd held for years. "You wanted me to sign away my father's inheritance, but I already own the company that handles your inheritance." The silence was suffocating. The only sound left was the lawyer nervously clearing his throat. Emily's voice cracked. "You planned this, didn't you?" I met her eyes, calm and sharp. "Every second." Emily's chair screeched against the floor as she stood up, her face red, eyes wide with disbelief. "You think you can humiliate us like this?" she snapped. "After everything Mom and I did for you?" I tilted my head slightly. "You mean everything you did to me?" Mom finally spoke, her tone icy and trembling at once. "Courtney, this attitude isn't you. You're letting your success make you arrogant." I laughed softly. Not the kind of laugh that comes from joy, but from years of pain finally flipping to power. "Arrogant? No, Mom. I'm just done pretending to be smaller so you could feel bigger." Before we go on, if you've ever had to stay silent while people doubted you, share this story. Because the next few seconds will hit hard. Emily leaned forward, voice sharp as glass. "Do you have any idea how hard we worked to keep Dad's business alive after he died?" "And you just left!" "I didn't leave," I said quietly. "I was pushed out. You both told me I wasn't smart enough to handle finances, that I should focus on something easier, so I did. I focused on myself." Mom slammed her palm on the table. "You were always dramatic." "Dramatic?" I cut in. "When Dad was in the hospital, I begged you to let me see the company files, remember? You said, 'Girls don't belong in boardrooms.'" Her expression froze. The color drained from her face. I stood up slowly, placing both hands on the table. "So I built my own boardroom." Emily scoffed, trying to recover her pride. "Oh, please. You think money changes anything? You're still the same emotional mess." Just then, the restaurant doors opened. A woman in a tailored black suit walked in, holding a leather folder. She walked straight toward me. "Ms. Brooks," she said with a professional smile. "The press release is live. Also, the legal transfer papers you requested are ready for your signature." Emily turned pale. "Who is she?" "My personal attorney," I replied smoothly. "She's here for the same reason Mr. Hayes is. But this time, I'm the one signing." The lawyer looked between us nervously. Wait, you're transferring? I nodded. Yes, the family estate, including Dad's business name, all under my management now. I just acquired it this morning. Mom gasped audibly. You what? Emily's lips parted, but no words came out. I smiled softly. You tried to erase me from Dad's legacy, so I made sure the legacy became mine. And for the first time in years, they looked at me. Really looked at me. Not as the soft one, but as the storm they never saw coming. The air around the table felt heavier than ever. For once, they had no words, just the stunned silence of people realizing the person they'd underestimated had outgrown them completely. Mom finally whispered, almost to herself, I don't understand. How could you do all this alone? I looked at her, my tone calm, not cruel, not loud, just steady. Because you taught me what it feels like to be alone. You made sure I learned that lesson early. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Angry ones. So this is revenge then? I shook my head. No, Emily. This is closure. Before we continue, if you've ever had to prove your worth after being doubted, don't scroll. This ending is for you. I stood, gathering my bag as my attorney handed me the final folder. I flipped through the pages, signed where needed, then placed the pen down gently. This, I said, tapping the document, is the last time any of you make a decision for me. Mom reached out across the table, her voice breaking. Courtney, we're still family. I smiled faintly. That same soft smile they used to mistake for weakness. Family doesn't disappear when it's inconvenient. You both did. Emily's lips trembled. You're really walking away? I already did, I said quietly. You're just realizing it now. The lawyer nodded awkwardly, packing up the documents. My attorney gave me a subtle nod, and I turned toward the exit. As I walked away, I caught a glimpse of their reflections in the restaurant mirror. Mom staring down at the table. Emily frozen, still clutching her phone. The screen glowing with my name under the headline, Self-Made CEO Reclaims Family Legacy. Outside, the cold air hit my face, and for the first time in years it didn't sting. It felt clean, free. I looked up at the city skyline and whispered to myself, not revenge, just evolution.